Hi, we're going to do empirical and molecular formulas. First, we're going to start off with how to determine the empirical formula of a compound when you are giving the percent composition. So, in your notes, we have some steps. There's 6 steps on how to do this. The first thing is to assume 100 grams of the compound and take the percentages of each element by multiplying it by 100 grams of compound and have the grams of each element. We can skip this step and just convert all of these percents into grams. And that's step 1 and 2. So instead of having 36.5% sodium, we can have 36.5 grams of sodium, and so forth for each of them. So that's step 1 and 2. Step 3 is convert grams of each element to moles of each element. So we're going to convert our grams to moles. Then we're going to find the smallest answer from step 3 and divide by that. This will give us at least a 1. Remember, we want whole numbers or something very close to a whole number. Once we find this small ratio, the whole number ratio, we can write our formula down. So the first thing to do is, let's read the problem. Determine the empirical formula for an unknown compound composed of 36.5% sodium, 25.4% sulfur, and 38.1% oxygen by mass. Name this compound. So ultimately we want to name the compound. Alright, so I've done step 1 and 2. I've shown you. We're going to convert the percent into grams. Percent to grams, percent to grams. So I'm going to do 36.5 grams of sodium, and that's step 1 and 2. Now I need to convert this into moles. So I have 1 mole of sodium, and I have no idea how much sodium weighs. So I'm going to look here and find that it weighs 22.990. So 22.990 grams per mole. And I'm just going to set this up for all of them. 25.4 grams of sulfur. 1 mole, we want to find moles of sulfur, and I look at my table and I see that sulfur weighs 32.066. So 32.066. And again for oxygen, 38.1 grams of oxygen times 1 mole of oxygen divided by the mass of oxygen, which is 15.999. 15.999. Alright, so then all I have to do is multiply these, then I can find my answer. So I'm going to do 36.5 and multiply it by 1, which is going to be the same thing, and I'm going to divide by 22.9. So here's my phone. So 36.5 times 1 is the same thing, divided by 22.990. That equals 1.5876. Alright, I have 25.4 times 1, same thing, divided by 32.066. That equals 0.792. And then I have 38.1 times 1, and then divided by 15.999. That equals 2.3813, etc. Alright, so then that's step 3. Step 4 is to find the smallest number. The smallest number is this. Now that I have the smallest number, I'm going to divide all of my answers by the smallest number. So 0.792, 0.792, 0.792. 0.792 divided by 0.792 is going to equal 1. So then what I do now is I do 1.5876 divided by 0.792. That equals about 2. Alright, and then I have 2.38 divided by 0.792. That equals about 3. Alright, so now I have my ratio. So how many sodiums do I have? Well, I have 2 sodiums. How many sulfurs? 1 sulfur. How many oxygens? 3 oxygens. So my formula is Na2SO3. Then look, I know this is a metal, and that's a polyatomic ion. So I'm going to look at my polyatomic ions. So I need to find SO3, SO3 sulfite. So this is going to be sodium sulfite. And that's all I do.